The crystal chandelier above the marble floor shimmered as laughter echoed through the grand living room of the Whitmore mansion. That night, millionaire investor Edward Whitmore was hosting one of his famous charity dinners, a night meant to help the poor, though everyone in attendance knew it was really about helping his own ego. Standing quietly in the corner was Angela Brooks, Edward's black maid, holding a silver tray and forcing a smile through exhaustion. Beside her, her 16-year-old son Malik stacked empty glasses, hoping the night would pass quickly. But fate had other plans. Angela. Edward's voice cut through the chatter, smooth and smug. "Who's this young man helping you?" "My son, sir." "Malik," she answered softly. Edward smirked, sipping his champagne. "Ah, a young man from the other side of town. Tell me, Malik, what do you do for fun? Basketball? Rap?" The guests chuckled. Malik's jaw tightened, but he stayed silent. Edward's eyes landed on a polished chessboard displayed on the table. "Tell you what," he said, grinning cruelly. "How about a game of chess? Ever played before?" Angela's eyes widened. "Sir, he doesn't—" "Oh, nonsense," Edward interrupted. "It'll be entertaining. Let's see how street smarts hold up against strategy." The guests laughed again, expecting a show. Malik simply nodded. "Sure, sir, I'd like that." Something in his tone, calm, unbothered, made the room grow still. Edward sat at the white pieces, his expensive cufflinks glinting in the light. "I'll start," he declared, moving his pawn forward confidently. "Let's keep this quick. I have guests to entertain." Malik looked down at the board, then moved his pawn without hesitation. "C5, he said quietly. A few heads turned. One of the guests, a retired professor, raised an eyebrow. "That's the Sicilian defense." Edward frowned. "You know chess terms, do you?" Malik's lips curved into a faint smile. "A few." The laughter returned, but weaker this time. Within minutes, Malik's calm precision began to unsettle the room. Each move came instantly, deliberately. His eyes never left the board. Edward tried to shake it off with jokes, but his smile faltered as Malik's pieces cornered him move by move. "What's your strategy, boy?" Edward asked. "Trying to impress the rich folk?" "No, sir," Malik said softly. "Just playing the game." By the 10th move, Edward realized he was trapped in a web he didn't understand. Malik had quietly taken control of the board. The professor watching leaned forward, whispering, "He's building a dragon variation. My God, this kid's no amateur." Angela stood frozen in the corner, tray trembling in her hands. She had always known her son was gifted. She'd seen him study late into the night with old chess books from the library. But watching him dismantle a millionaire's arrogance with nothing but logic and patience felt like watching justice unfold in real time. Edward's hand began to shake as he moved his queen. Malik countered instantly. "Check," Malik said, his voice cutting through the silence like a blade. Edward blinked. "What?" "Check," Malik repeated, eyes calm. The room went silent. Every guest leaned closer. Edward stared at the board, scanning frantically for a way out. He couldn't find one. The boy had cornered him. "You must have memorized this," Edward stammered. "There's no way you came up with that on your own." Malik's expression didn't change. "You're right, sir. I didn't come up with it. Kasparov did. 1985 World Championship." The professor gasped. "He's quoting moves from Kasparov versus Karpov." Edward's face turned red. He looked around the room for support, but the laughter had vanished. In its place was quiet awe and a hint of shame. Angela finally stepped forward, her voice trembling but strong. "My son spent years teaching himself, sir. No tutor, no fancy club. Just books from the library and a second-hand board from a thrift shop, while I worked nights cleaning houses like this one." Edward swallowed hard, but Malik wasn't done. "Checkmate," he said softly. sliding his queen into place. The finality of the word hung in the air. The mighty Edward Whitmore had been defeated by the son of his maid. A few guests clapped softly. The professor stood, tears glinting in his eyes. "Young man," he said, "you have a mind built for greatness." Edward leaned back in his chair, pale, speechless. Malik looked him in the eye. "You said this was for entertainment. I hope you were entertained." The guests shifted uncomfortably. No one laughed this time. Angela set down her tray and walked to her son's side. "We'll be going now," she said quietly. As they turned to leave, one woman, Senator Grace Langford, seated near the back, stood abruptly. "Malik," she called, "do you have plans after high school?" "I want to study engineering," Malik replied. "But scholarships are hard to come by." The senator smiled. "Not anymore. Call my office Monday morning." Angela gasped, covering her mouth. Malik nodded respectfully. "Thank you, ma'am." As they walked out the door, the room remained silent, except for the sound of Edward's pride shattering. That night, Malik didn't sleep. He stayed up replaying the match in his head. Not the moves, but the faces of those who had watched him go from servant son to undeniable genius. Months later, his story went viral after Senator Langford shared it online. Teen chess prodigy humbles millionaire who mocked his mother. The world fell in love with Malik's quiet strength. Interviews followed, then scholarships, then his first tournament win. But through it all, he never bragged. "Chess taught me that every move counts," he said in one interview. "My mother taught me that every act of dignity matters even more." Angela now worked as a supervisor at a luxury hotel, earning more than she ever dreamed. Malik studied at Stanford, leading a program that taught chess to underprivileged kids. And Edward Whitmore? He disappeared from public view, his reputation tarnished. Those who once praised him now whispered about the night his arrogance was defeated on 64 squares of marble. When asked years later if he forgave Edward, Malik smiled. "Forgiveness isn't about them. It's about freeing yourself. I don't play to humiliate people. I play to prove that anyone, no matter where they come from, can think their way to victory. Because in the end, it wasn't just a chess match. It was a checkmate against prejudice, a lesson written in silence and strategy, and a reminder that true genius doesn't come from privilege. It comes from perseverance."